Hello and welcome back to episode 4 of Pokemon Yellow. This is Fat Pack. In today's episode, a lot of grinding, honestly, like on-screen grinding. When I play Pokemon, I tend to do everything possible before I take on a gym. So, bright side, guys, bright side. In probably the next episode, there's going to be a bit of a gym leader gauntlet. So, there you go. Not the episode after, but I doubt it's going to be that long. But yeah, 3 gym leaders all in a row. Bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. In fact, honestly, normally what I do is I don't even go on and take Surge on, but I did it for the video. But normally I get cut and I go straight into Rock Tunnel. And don't look back. You have to do the gym leaders eventually, but, I figure might as well be as high a level as the game allows you to be. I don't do any unnecessary grinding. The only grinding I do, you've already seen. Like, I get my party up to when I get Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, I get them up to the same level, and that's it. Like, everything else, you will see me gain every level from here on out. I just showed you that Snorlax is there, but can't really do a whole lot with him, so I'm going on this route now. This is the route west of Lavender Town, and interesting thing coming up after this guy, I don't understand the trainer placement. Like, okay, so check this out. The 4 of them standing looking in all sorts of different directions would be great. You can't sneak past all of them. And it's smart, for if you really want them to be caught by someone. But then, just south of here, you have the 2 trees that you can cut, and I suppose that if you don't have cut, then you're forced to battle, but why wouldn't you have cut? It's not like later generations of Pokemon, where there's so many good moves that, cutting for cut, as it were, is really difficult. And generally, I don't use cut, or strength for that matter, which I haven't gotten yet. That's next episode. But here, everything but Flash is not terrible. Like, I don't want Ivysaur to have, just grass type moves anyway. But that's really the best he gets. And I'd rather use good TMs on Pokemon that aren't my Stolly Wall, which, Venusaur is, Ivysaur, Bulbasaur. So, plus I like my team to carry its own, like, each member to carry some of the weight, some of the burden. So you've got Charizard flying, Blastoise surfing, Venusaur can cut, and then, I don't know which one I'm going to have learn strength. I think a couple can. It's probably going to be Primeape. But it could be Dugtrio, I don't honestly know. But, so, if you buy one of each soda from the top of the Pokemart there, and give them to that girl, she gives you Ice Beam, Rock Slide, and Tri Attack, which, this game's TM placement. You get Thunderbolt from Surge. You get Ice Beam there, and then, I don't even remember where you get Flamethrower off the top of my head. I think it's in Victory Road. Don't quote me on that, I didn't look it up. So now we're west, or east. West? East? I thought you said west. East of Vermilion City. This is the route I skipped because I wanted to get Jolteon first. And again, I normally skip a lot more to go get Jolteon. But, yeah, it's about to look pretty familiar, because out that door to your right, well, let me grab that escape rope and look at the nothing and fight this guy. Apparently, I guess I didn't go straight for the thing to show you. Professional Fat Pack is professional. So, Magneton would have, in next gen, gets the steel typing, and that's interesting. It's an interesting topic. Yeah, there's that Snorlax again. I'm sure most people who know Pokemon at all know the Masingo glitch, where you talk to the old man in Viridian City, you fly over to Cinnabar Island and surf on the east coast, and you'll run into Masingo. What people don't necessarily know is why Masingo shows up. So, and this is all rounding back to Magneton, by the way, in theory. But it wasn't originally the first 151 Pokemon. Originally, it was the first 170. But I'm going to assume due to time crunch they had to cut a few out. And all the Pokemon they cut out, you know, they're all Gen 2 Pokemon. And what's interesting about them is among their ranks are Scizor, and there's a Dark type in there too. I think it's Houndoom, come to think of it. But in Gen 1 they didn't have the Dark and Steel types, so it makes me wonder, you know, would this game have been different with the first 170? Would there have been the Steel and Dark type and they just cut them out of the first game? Would there not? Because they marketed the Steel and Dark type as a foil to the overpowered Alakazam and Mewtwo. Because the Psychic type was ridiculous, and then they introduced the Dark type that beats it and the Steel type that resists it. So, my question is, was the Dark and Steel type there to begin with when they were going to introduce the first 170? And they cut it out due to, you know, time crunch, fitting all of this on a cartridge? Or would originally there was no Dark and Steel type? What typing would Scizor have been? You know, there's so many interesting questions that come from this that, I don't know. I'd love to ask Game Freak myself. Just talk with some of the people who made the original Pokemon and ask them, you know, what was their thought with this. By the way, that pad in there, so good, so good. Heals you up. That means I don't have to go all the way back to the Pokemon Center and then climb the tower again off screen, because I cut most of it out. I think I had one editing error at like around the 6-minute mark. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, rounding back to my story. The Steel type. In Gen 2, Magnemite and, you know, Magneton become Electric Steel. So, I just wonder, you know, how different this game would have been if they left in some of their original things. Another interesting thing is Gyarados was originally supposed to be a water dragon, but they found that to be a bit overpowered. What's that? One weakness? Dragon types. How many dragons are in the game? Oh, just Dratini family? Lol, 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 lol. Water dragon. It's so good. And then Gen 2 comes around, they make Kingdra. Lol. But, well, obviously if Gyarados was Water Dragon, there'd be 2 dragons that can beat it. Another Gyarados. Not the point. Point is, little too strong. Okay, so here's an interesting glitch. If you get to, you can skip all of Celadon Game Corner by just picking up a Pokédoll. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the Game Corner. I just wanted to show you that Game Corner, completely optional. And in fact, the speedrunning community doesn't bother with it. I mean, why would you take the optional thing, you know? But, no, I'm gonna do it, and that's why I climbed the Lavender Tower first. But I made a save state, and I went back to it, and I'm like, I will fight this mysterious ghost, which is basically Marowak's mom. I mean, come on, guys. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling a 15-year-old game. But, yeah, Rocket Grunts. Loving it. So, Primeape, I don't always keep it on my team. I sometimes grab Alakazam, Gengar, or Snorlax, depending on, you know, how I'm feeling. But sometimes I just get a Primeape that I really like. And this turned out to be a real winner. That Body Slam, man. Body Slam that Primeape, with that Primeape, oh, so good. Too strong. So, this isn't the way you're supposed to go, by the way. I don't know why, but I do this every time I play the game, and I do it on purpose, too. I know this isn't the way I'm supposed to go. But, I don't know. I mean, young Fat Pack. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, with the, you know, dimples in his cheeks, and etc., etc. I'd always get lost in this place. And I'd always do it on accident. But now, you know, I know my way around. I know where everything is. Mostly. Apparently I'm not perfect, because I have told TK a few things during his Pokemon Blue Nuzlocke. Complete garbage. No, maybe not complete garbage, but, you know, 98%. There's still some glitches, by the way, guys, that I've told TK about that he's made slight mention that I want to show off that I haven't gotten to yet, so don't worry about that, guys. There will be more. It's drowsy. Sorry, my screen went all dark seas because I hadn't touched the mouse in a while, because, you know, when you post-commentate, there's not a whole much of mouse action going on. So the computer's like, oh, you're not doing anything even though you're talking to me? Oh, okay. There's probably a setting or something I can do to make it not do this, or maybe just last longer, because, I mean, I only need it to stay awake for 20 minutes. Come on, computer, jeez. Jeez, I can stay awake for 20 minutes. So, in here, I just got the lift key. I'm going to battle this guy. This is actually the shortcut out. If you don't want to go back and backtrack once you've done, you know, all that slidey puzzle business, you can go out that way. But I'm a brave / foolish man. So Gen 3, there's a lot that's different about this game that makes it, I don't know if I'd say harder, but different. And for one, you know, coughing has levitate in Gen 3 when they introduce abilities. So doing that and doing dig on it, not gonna work. So this team actually is a lot worse in Gen 3 as I have it set up. You more or less need something that can use psychic type attacks, which I picked up the psychic TM. By the way, I'm back at the top of the tower, guys. Time to actually fight Marowak for real. I'm not gonna make you watch me climb the tower again. That's dumb. Oh look, Team Rocket double battle. Well, not a double battle. Those don't come until Gen 3 either. But 2 in a row? Oh yeah. So now their Pokemon are fully evolved. Pretty good for, you know, a couple seconds. Good job, Team Rocket. You're even better at grinding than I am. So that wasn't an actual meat cut, but that one is. Fuji gives you the Poke Flute, and you can wake up Snorlax. Here's the... Like I said, sometimes I use Snorlax. I'm gonna catch him. But I'm not using him. Like... He's nice. He's really good. He's really tanky. He can take a lot of hits. He gets better in Gen 2 when you get Sleep Talk, but unfortunately you don't get him until you come to Kanto. Not the point. But, you know, he's still really good, and he can still deal a lot of damage. And he's a fully evolved Pokemon that you can catch right there. Again, before you even get the 3rd gym badge. So, this route is my least favorite route in the game. Like, I know I said last episode that I didn't like the route east of Pewter City, but that was just childhood me not enjoying the caves and all the Zubats, and I knew they were coming. This route is long and trainerful. Plenty of trainers. This will be the last thing I do in this episode, but as you can see, there's still like 7 minutes of the episode left. So get ready for Fat Pack's wild ride as we go and take on person after person with hopefully no editing errors. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm frustrated that I left that one in. So, Dugtrio's getting its first screen time this episode. I didn't need to use it. I catch it, and sometimes I do. Sometimes Surge gets a lucky critical hit, and I don't grind to the 40s like TK does. I'm looking at you, TK, right now. Talking about Hermit and Fooflin on my screen in chat. I don't grind crazy. I grind until everyone's equal when I get a new party member, and then I just take on trainers. Only grinding if I have to, but I generally don't. I've beaten this game. I didn't beat the Elite Four like this when I was a child. I would skip every trainer I could, and I'd get all 8 badges, and my team would be average level 35, but I could not take on the Elite Four with those. I was just not good enough for that. They're too strong. So, I really don't need that much grinding, especially since I'm already to level 35 and I haven't gotten my 4th gym badge. So, interesting thing, and I think I partially touched on this last episode. This game does a much better job with level progression than Generation 2 does. Generation 2, I love Johto. It's my 2nd favorite generation, but if it has faults, one of the few faults it has is level progression. Whereas this game, you know, it tops out at 50, I believe. And I know in Gen 2, there's, you know, Red at the top of Mount Silver, you know, level 70s and 80s Pokemon, and you have to climb to that, but that's the thing, you can't, because everything before him is in the 50s, so you have to grind. And I know it's an RPG and an old RPG, an old turn-based RPG, and a lot of times, yeah, that's what they were. Grind fests. Deal with it. But it's just unfortunate when it can be done so much better, and they've proven they can do it, level progression so much better. I don't know. One of those gripes. Everything has them. There's gripes that I have about, I think Pokemon, I think Black 2, White 2 were as close to the perfect handheld Pokemon game as we've gotten. Like, my only complaint is I couldn't then go to every region in the game and experience getting all badges from all regions. Like you could in Johto, because you could go back to Gen 1 and get all those badges. Was it realistic for me to expect it? No. Did I expect it? No. But, that's one of my favorite things about Johto. But Black and White and Black 2 and White 2 do a pretty good job of level progression. My only gripe with that being after the Elite Four, but that's post-game. And I know Gen 2, Fat Pack isn't Mount Silver post-game, yes. But I also didn't mention really the fact that the Elite Four is just balls easy. Like, you pretty much roll, okay, so Gen 1, Falkner. If you got a Chikorita, good luck. If you got anyone else, pretty straightforward. You don't get anything super effective against him, probably, by this point in the game. Like, you really shouldn't, unless it's Gen 4, in which case, the remakes Heart Gold Soul Silver, you can find Mareep just outside Violet City, but... And then Gym 2, Azalea Town. Really easy. I mean, you have a Pidgey? Yes? Good job. You've got your badge. Do you have Cyndaquil? Yes? Haha! You've really got your badge. Then there's Whitney's Miltank, and... Well, any Pokemon player worth his salt knows that there was a lot of butt hurt had to Whitney and it's not because her Pokemon are that great. She has a Clefairy and a Miltank. It's just that the level progression is ridiculous. First you fight a bunch of bugs where the best thing is Scyther, which is fine, but its signature move is Fury Cutter, and Fury Cutter is not a good move on a Pokemon that doesn't have the ability to live long enough. By the way, Venusaur evolved. I didn't mention it, but you saw it. Ivysaur evolved into Venusaur. GG. This is not a Pokemon Venusaur should be fighting, by the way. But Whitney's Miltank, man. Like, the Clefairy isn't even that bad. It's Whitney's Miltank with its rollout, just rolls all over you. It rolls all over Cyndaquil if you start with that. At this point you don't have Chikorita because the couple times I've used Chikorita, I have made it all the way through the game with Chikorita before. It's not impossible. It's just, I mean, you can beat the game with any Pokemon, but it's not as much fun. But yeah, it's super effective against that. Totodile is statted wrong. It's like Gyarados. It's unfortunate that they existed before the physical special split, because water types are special attacks and Totodile's good at physical attacking. It sucks, but that's the world it lives in. But yeah, and then you move on to Ekritique, which it's reasonably challenging, but the 4th gym should be. But, and then, it keeps with about that difficulty curve until Blackthorn City, the 8th gym, and she is ridiculous, and then the Elite Four is easier than her. This is my one gripe with Gen 2, and the reason it's my second favorite game, and over Black and White's better. So, and I started this conversation 2 episodes ago, and never finished it. But yeah, Gen 3 is my least favorite. Why? Freaking Surf. And you also couldn't send up Gold and Silver Pokemon. They didn't let you. But yeah, this is the last battle I'm in. I'm going to start wrapping this episode up. I'm going to try and do a better job of that, because the first 3 were not good examples. This has been Fat Pack.